Hey you, yes you, are you an aspiring Paladins player wanting to frag out with the best players in the realm, but don't fully understand the complicated mechanics within Paladins? It's okay, because I'm here to make things clear for you. For this first guide, we're going to be talking about one of the most important aspects within Paladins, and that is the item shop. Knowing what to buy and how much to buy of what can be difficult for new players to understand, as some items are situational, some items are too pricey, and others are just bait. But before we get into what items to buy, we first have to talk about credits, the currency used to buy the items. So how do you earn credits? Well, every player starts with 400 credits, earns 1 credit every second, and you can earn credits by standing near an objective, capturing an objective, killing an enemy, eliminating an enemy, dealing damage, taking damage, absorbing damage, and healing allies. However, you can't gain any credits by healing yourself, damaging yourself, or killing yourself, unfortunately. But wait, there's more. You see, you can gain an increased amount of credits in a couple different ways. First, you have class passives. Each class can earn extra credits by performing the tasks that class is meant to do. Frontlines can earn 100% more credits for standing near an objective. Supports can earn 100% more credits by healing allies. Damages can earn 100% more credits for dealing damage. And flanks can earn 30% more credits for getting a killing blow. There's also a few tricks you can do to maximize the credits you receive by using the game's assist mechanics. In Paladins, you can receive an elimination credit for assisting in a kill by other means than just shooting them. Healing a teammate who is killing an enemy, revealing an enemy, or dealing crowd control effects to an enemy will all lead to you receiving an elimination credit. Something you should remember is that when healing yourself, you gain no credits, but when an ally heals you, they receive a credit. So if you really want to maximize your team's credit gain, sometimes it's better not to pick up self-healing cards. So now that you know how to get credits and how to maximize the credits you receive, let's talk about the items themselves. But first, I should go over the Diminishing Returns mechanic, as this affects almost every item in the store. Diminishing Returns allows you to gain benefits from multiple sources at a diminished rate. For example, if you have 20% movement speed on your loadout, and also Nimble 3, which is 30% movement speed, you will have a combined movement speed of 45%. You would gain the full 30% from Nimble, and then the 20% from your loadout would diminish, only giving you an extra 15%. Also, the more benefits you gain from multiple sources, the more the diminishing takes a toll. So, for example, let's say you get an extra 20% movement speed from a healer buff on top of your loadout and items, you would only gain 12% from that 20%, making your total movement speed 57. Still more movement speed, but not as much. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the items. Every item in the game can be upgraded to a maximum of level 3, with the second level costing 2 times more than the first, and the third costing 3 times more than the first. Also, you can only purchase one item from each color category: red, green, yellow, and blue. So let's start off with the strongest items in the game, red items. Red items are your offensive items and are your main priority on DPS champions. One thing to note is that any effect given by red items are only applied to your in-hand weapon shots and not abilities, unless those abilities count as in-hand weapon shots, like Leon's. Cauterize is the first item on our list, costing 300 credits at level 1, and is a contender for the best item in the game. Cauterize reduces healing by 30% per level, which is really powerful, seeing how every character in the game has some way to heal themselves, either through cards, talents, abilities, or items, so Cauterize is really never a bad pickup. This card is strongest on characters with easy to confirm in-hand shots, allowing them to spread Cauterize with ease. Most characters should be picking up Cauterize or have some sort of Cauterize within their build, because you don't want to see the damage you just dealt just be immediately undone. You should always at least upgrade Cauterize to level 2, as level 1 doesn't do much, but most of the time you want to get Cauterize to level 3 to get that 90% anti-heal. An added bonus from Cauterize is that it gives your team more credits, as supports on the enemy team will heal less, thus decreasing their credit gain. If multiple Cauterizers are shooting one target, the anti-heal stacks with Diminishing Returns. However, you can counter Cauterize with anything that applies the increased healing effect. For example, if a character has 30% increased healing while below 50% health, and you apply a 90% anti-heal with Cauterize 3, you are only applying 60% since the increased healing counters the Cauterize. Next up, we have Wrecker coming in at 300 credits for level 1. Wrecker shuts down shields by giving you a 75% damage bonus on shields. Riker is best paired with damages who have less confirmable damage like Drogos, since they can't spread Cauterize as effectively as other champions but scale best with Riker. Riker is the best level 1 item in the game due to its super high damage modifier. However, buying higher levels of this card is still beneficial, allowing you to more quickly deal with high HP shields like Fernando's. This can be a decent support pickup if no one else has Riker, or if you want to enable more of your teammates to pick up Cauterize. But only pick this up on Grover if you're dealing with personal shields, since his damage doesn't scale on regular shields. However, buying Riker on frontlines like Fernando should only be done if it's your only option, as Nando doesn't do much base damage to scale well with Riker against shields. The third item, we have Bulldozer, the cheapest red item for any champion on a budget, only costing you 200 credits. Bulldozer helps you destroy deployables by giving you a 50% damage bonus against deployables. This item is very useful when dealing with multiple deployable characters, such as fighting a Barrack plus team composition. If you're playing a support, this can be a really good pickup because of how cheap it is. And it also allows you to save more credits for Chronos, and since you can focus on deployables, so your DPS don't have to. Unlike Riker, Bulldozer pairs well with characters that deal below average damage, since most deployables in the game have very low HP pools. Some characters have deployables that are very weak, like Knessa and Vivian, and getting Bulldozer would be useless since they get one-shot by anything anyways. You should always be aware of how much damage your character does at base, since some champions can one-shot stronger deployables without Bulldozer, such as Shaolin being able to one-shot Barrack turrets. The last and certainly most least, we have Deft Hands, costing you a whopping 400 credits for the first level. Deft Hands increases your reload speed by 20% per level, which on paper seems strong, but is also outclassed by the other red items. Coupled with its enormous price, it makes the item super weak and is often looked at as a noob trap. However, Deft Hands can be good in very specific situations, such as being able to have more uptime on Buck and getting off more stuns as Maldamba. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go into our green cards, which are your healing cards. Green cards are very useful in helping you stay in the fight or getting back into the fight faster. The first item in the green category is Rejuvinate, which is a super cheap item coming in at only 200 credits for the first level. Rejuvinate increases your healing received by 10% per level. This item is useful on any class, but is best used on frontlines who receive the biggest bulk of healing and expose themselves to the most Cauterize, which is countered by the increased healing effects. However, the increased healing effects do not apply to self-healing like recovery from Butt, and also does not reduce the 100% anti-heal from Willow's Dead Zone. Side note, this item helps your team gain the most amount of credits, as your supports will be healing more and gain more credits in return. The next item we have on our list is Veteran, which is just as cheap as Rejuvenate, being only 200 credits for the first level, but is not as strong. Veteran increases the percentage of HP gain while out of combat by 4% per level. Veteran can be a good item when you don't have a healer, especially on flanks who can use their mobility to get out of combat more easily, and tanks due to their high HP pools giving them the most amount of health when out of combat. However, this item struggles compared to the other items due to how situational it is, and the fact that you already heal rapidly while out of combat, and how much better Rejuvenate is as an option as long as you have a support. Life Rip is the next item on our list, costing 300 credits for the first level. Life Rip gives you 10% of your in-hand weapon damage back his health. This item helps you sustain during combat, especially on characters with good poke like snipers, allowing them to receive the full heal since they are less likely to be cauterized from far distances. This item should not be bought on front lines or characters who have to expose themselves to Cauterize to deal damage, as Cauterize can make the healing received negligible. Kill to Heal is the last item in our green category, costing 300 credits for the first level. Kill to Heal gives you 300 health for kills or eliminations. The item is very good on supports, because getting an assist for healing procs the Kill to Heal effect, keeping you topped off. This item is a snowball item, and many characters have some sort of snowball loadout, which can pair very well with Kill to Heal. However, you should not purchase this on a frontline character, since their high HP pools are too high for 300 HP to make a difference, and the higher levels are way too big of an investment. The third section we have is yellow items, which are your utility items. These items are great for expanding your options and the rate at which these options become available. The first item we have is Master Writing, costing you 300 credits at level 1. Master Writing increases your mount speed by 15% per level. This item is great on front lines that excel at controlling the points such as Barrack, Terminus, and Inara, letting them get back to the point faster and creating tons of space for your team. Another reason to buy this item is if you're comfortable with getting 2-for-1 trades as a flank, such as Androxus. Being able to constantly dive their backline and keeping their respawn timers in your team's favor can be extremely useful. The item is also great for learning the game, as you will inevitably be making mistakes that will lead to you dying, and getting back to the fight soon after you respawn to try different things and seeing what works can make the learning process much quicker. The only class you really shouldn't buy this item on is supports, as you should be focusing on not dying at all, and being the first to the point isn't something you should really be trying to do as a support. Plus, it prevents you from buying Chronos, Morale Boost, or Nimble, which are all really beneficial to supports. Next item we have in the yellow category is Chronos, the only other item besides Deft Hands to cost 400 credits. However, unlike Deft Hands, Chronos is really good. Chronos decreases your cooldowns by 10% per level. This item is best on characters that have multiple strong abilities on long cooldowns, such as supports. This item can greatly increase your credit gain even though it costs more, since you can perform more actions, thus gaining more credits. However, you shouldn't buy this item on characters with small cooldowns, like Ceres, whose heal can be reduced to 1.5 seconds with loadout cards. Nimble comes next and costs 300 credits for level 1. Nimble increases your movement speed by 10% per level. This item is a really nice flavor pick, but isn't really a must-buy on any character. Nimble is a good item on characters like Terminus and Fernando, whose damage is constrained to being close up to the target. Supports that don't require Chronos like Ceres can invest into Nimble, as it allows you to outpace flanks, keep up with your team, and peek corners faster. Speaking of peeking corners, if you're playing a character that can benefit from shoulder peeking like Butt, Nimble can be a nice pickup, making the whole movement a whole lot more fluid. Nimble does stack with Diminishing Returns, and is often bought on characters looking to heavily stack speed buffs like Lex or Androxus. Morale Boost is the last item in the yellow category, coming in at 300 credits for the first level. Morale Boost increases your ult charge by 15% per level. This item is best on champions that already have fast charging ults like Drogos, allowing you to constantly pressure the enemy team with a strong ult. It's also a great buy if you have an ult that can counter multiple characters on the enemy team, such as Cassie being able to counter both Shaolin's ult and Maeve's ult. Be wary of getting this on characters with inconsistent ults like Moji and Genos, since these ults have to be used when the opportunity presents itself and not whenever you get the ultimate. The last category is blue items, which are your defensive items. Blue items are focused on keeping you alive. Unlike green items, however, blue items are meant to prevent you from taking damage instead of healing the damage off. The first items we have in the blue category are Haven and Blast Shields, since they both essentially do the same thing and both cost you 300 credits for level 1. Haven gives you 7% damage reduction against direct damage, and Blast Shields gives you 7% damage reduction against AoE damage. A majority of characters and attacks are countered by Haven due to there being an abundance of direct damage dealers. However, you want to analyze your opponent's team and assess what type of damage you're going to be taking more of. For example, if you're playing Androxus and your enemy team consists of Terminus, Fernando, BK, Victor, and Maldamba, you might think to buy Haven because there are 3 direct damage dealers and only 2 blasters. However, since Victor will consistently be throwing grenades, and both Terminus and Maldamba will be inconsistent when applying damage to a flank, Blast Shields would be a way better pick for the situation, especially since the main threat on the enemy team will be the Bomb King. Damage reduction from Haven and Blast Shields can also be stacked with other forms of damage reduction, such as Inara's Earthen Guard with Diminishing Returns. Take note of any potential one-shots you can avoid with Haven 1, such as a no health invested Rover being able to survive a headshot from an eagle-like Nessa. This item also prevents the enemy team from gaining more credits, since the damage they do will be decreased. Next we have Resilience, costing you 300 credits at level 1. Resilience decreases the duration of your crowd control effects and slows by 30% per level. You can pick up Resilience on any champion, since being crowd controlled can put any champion in an unfavorable situation. However, many champions already have crowd control reduction cards within their loadouts, making it way more convenient to start with high crowd control reduction cards instead of investing the credits into Resilience. Resilience also does not affect hard crowd control such as stuns and silences, only their duration. The item also doesn't affect status effects such as anti-heal, burning, poison, reveal, or having a sticky bomb on. As a side note, while dealing with Pip, it should be known that you can only decrease the duration of his ult by half. So, Resilience 2 is all that's needed. The last item we will talk about is Illuminate, which comes in at a very cheap 200 credits for the first level. Illuminate increases the range at which you can see characters in stealth by 20 units per level. Even though Illuminate is categorized as a defensive item, it is more so used as an offensive item when trying to track down enemies using stealth as a retreat option. Illuminate isn't always useful since many characters don't have stealth, and since when you get into higher skill levels, stealth becomes more predictable, making Illuminate not as necessary. But if you're having trouble pinning down a Strix or a Skye, Illuminate will be sure to ruin your day. Anyways, share this video with whoever you think needs this video, or whoever you think needs some enlightenment on the item shop, and I will see you guys in the next one.